Alrighty. I really need to update this model to have my new avatar. Keep forgetting to do that. Alrighty. So today, the plan is to play Forgotten Castaways. Let's start playing it. It's advertised as a 6 to 8 hour story mod for Outer Wilds. I do not have 6 to 8 hours today, but we'll see how much we can get through today. Oh boy. That'll be fun. Alright, game should be launched now. I'm live on YouTube, I'm live on Twitch. Got audio, do I have game audio? Yes. Alrighty. Fantastic. Forgotten Castaways. Got the bramble vines back there. Such a small thing, but I love the fact that mods can just add extra titles to there. Hi Yazoo, how's it going? Welcome in. Boyo! We're playing the Outer Wild story mod Forgotten Castaways today. It is advertised as a 6 to 8 hour story mod by Coder Cleric. Following 4 Nomai who descend deeper into Dark Bramble. It's actually a very similar premise to a mod that me and my friend made for a mod jam. Wait, if you just skip 2/3 of it by accident again. I haven't heard of anyone else doing that with this mod, but I guess we'll find out. Alrighty. But this came out like half a year ago, and everyone's been saying that this is like one of the top 3 like best story mods. So I feel like it's about time I finally sit down and play it, since I'm all about Outer Wilds modding. Alright. As per usual, we've got a new ship log fact to point us in the right direction. 2 escape pods seem to have been damaged and never launched. I wonder if any Nomai were left behind. Alright, so that means we need to get to the vessel. I used to be able to do this blind. It's been a year or two. I'm gonna use the ship to help. Let's see if I remember the trick. That was so funny. I remember our Bramble mod also required going to the vessel. And one of the judges just like rage quit judging entirely because he didn't want to go to the vessel. And I was like, fair. But he also gave a shortcut to give back, so you didn't have to do it every time. Just for the initial time. At one point we were like, oh, we should make the player go to the Eye of the Universe for a mod. And people quickly pointed out that would be incredibly annoying to do if you don't remember how to do the final sequence. So we're not doing that. Alright, yep. You go here, you go through the red seed. Avoid the anglerfish in the center of the room, if I remember correctly. Oh, yeah, right there. Whoops. I was closer than I thought I was. Just drift on past. There we go. I like how the sound system in this game for like anglerfish noticing you is actually way more complicated than you'd expect. Because it's certain things create sounds, like impacting things or using the thrusters. Other things that cause sounds don't make any sounds at all. So like little maneuvering thrusters when you're like just rotating the ship around don't make any noise. As far as anglerfish are concerned. Okay, I did remember the trick. So when you drift, there's the seed and there's kind of a triangle of white seeds around the red, not the red seed, but the red anglerfish eggs. And along the longest edge of that triangle, the hypotenuse is the vessel seed. So I could have done this without the ship log hint. I did have it remembered correctly. But anyway, the sound detection, yeah. So when those sounds trigger, they calculate a distance that sound will alert enemies in, alert anglerfish in. So it's based on the loudness of the sound, it'll trigger anglerfish within a certain radius. And then if they're close enough to the player when that triggers, it'll also make them fully aggro. So it's not like you have to move a finite amount. Like if you're using a controller, it's not like you have to be thrusting a small amount and you're completely safe. It's based on like your distance to the anglerfish. The more you thrust, the closer that invisible distance gets to the anglerfish. I don't know. Bad way of explaining. With the anglerfish is that I have no idea how far I need to be to make noise again. Yeah, exactly. The way it's set up is that there's no easy way to do it. Like, it could have been that like all sounds were the same, and you just had to like know the right distance to be safe. But it depends. Impacts make different noises than thrusting. Different levels of thrusting scale up how loud it is. So full versus partial thrusting makes a difference. I found generally my rule of thumb is if I can see them in the fog, like if I can see their 3D model, then I'm too close. I think you can get a little bit closer than that, but that's my rule of thumb. Is if I drift until I can no longer make out the outline of the angler in the fog, then I'm good. Alright, so that's really funny. They put a recorder here. Is that the only change? I know I'm going to read that in a second, but I literally just walked through someone playing this mod, which is why I was remembering Bramble stuff again. And they literally do, like, the exact same thing we did. Is this new? This is new. Okay. So that's new. Yeah, this is the one that's always here. I was like, there is a recorder down here. But no, it's the one that's floating. That one on the ground is new. Okay. Because our Bramble mod, we literally have a recorder in the vessel as the starting point for the mod. So this is starting out almost identical. Oh, and there's one over here. Okay, so there's a few recordings to check out. And I think our mod came first, so I don't know if they were inspired by our mod or we just happened to have the exact same ideas, but that's kind of funny. Alright, still no vessel interior. Ship log updated. What's the ship log updated for? I hope I didn't accidentally trigger something important there. Someday someone's going to make a fully modeled vessel interior and it's going to be very cool. Today is probably not that day. Alright, I'm running low on fuel. Let me refuel real quick. 0G maneuvering eats up a lot of jetpack fuel. Even if you're not doing much. Alright. Zola. What are you all still doing here? You should be on an escape pod leaving. We tried, but the pod on the far side of the ship is entirely blocked off. We cannot reach it. Sinetti. Zola, Sinetti, Nessia. Fortunately, that seems to also be true of the pod on this side. We seem to be stranded. Ocalis. How are we going to escape from this place? The vessel is our only source of oxygen, so we were unable to just fly away from it. Zola. Despite the frightful appearance of our environment, we do not seem to be in any immediate danger. We should regroup on the bridge and come up with a plan from there. Okay. So it seems that there were survivors of the vessel crash that didn't make it to the escape pods, and they're coordinating what to do here. So what exactly is our plan of escape? Do we try to fly out? I fear that such a contemporary strategy may not work here. The vessel is registering very strange readings from the surrounding environment. It's possible that space doesn't function normally here. What are we to do then? Warp core is damaged, so we cannot simply warp out of the vessel. Perhaps we still can. We have many smaller warp cores throughout the vessel. Perhaps we can use a black hole core to escape. I do not believe that such an endeavor would succeed. Warp requires both a black and a white hole, and we have no core with which to establish a white hole. I believe that it's still worth attempting, especially seeing as we currently do not have any better ideas. I can see that it is currently the best idea we have. Now settled then, we will attempt to construct a makeshift warp device using one of the smaller black hole cores. Suggest that we do this in the lower bridge, as that area is both near the existing warp circuitry, and it should be easy to create a small area of artificial gravity down there so that it can work. Okay. So they're going to try to make a smaller warp core. That seems like a bad idea, given the fact that they warped into the bramble in the first place. Alright. That should be the last of the circuitry in place. Is the warp core prepared? Yes, it is, although it seems to be the only functional black hole core left in the vessel. Okay then, go ahead and slide into place and we'll see if this somehow works. Fair, they warped into the bramble while following the eye signal, yeah. And they were trying to get to the eye, and they got pulled into the bramble somehow instead. Which means maybe warping around near the bramble is a bad idea. Maybe we can somehow hijack warp signals or something. I don't know. But they are stranded and they're desperate, so it makes sense that they're willing to try something a little more extreme. Wait, how did that work? It should be completely impossible for that to function. Yes, I told you it was worth attempting. Warp out, fine, at the end of the game. That's true. We do. That's right, to travel to the eye. Still, the Nomai don't know that at this point. Don't know that you can warp out. I mean, obviously it's worth trying. Apparently in this mod they do. Means we can escape. Cannot wait to reunite with the rest of our clan. Started to worry that we'd never see them again. Let's not delay then. There's no telling how long the core will be able to hold the singularity open. Everyone go through. So they created a black hole and just went through the black hole. Did they know where they were going to end up? I don't see their device here. Ah, this warp core is broken. That's why. On the other side? Oh, on the other side of the black hole, yes, that's true. True. Yeah, we're probably expecting to come out on the other side of the black hole. But where is that white hole? Somehow their black hole connected to some other white hole somewhere. Like they said, it shouldn't be possible. Okay, so we need a functioning black hole core. I'm willing to bet that there's none just laying around the vessel. I'll double check one more time, but we'll probably need to go get one from the high energy lab, is my guess. This one, you can see that it's broken because it doesn't have the black hole inside it anymore. Yeah, nope. That's vanilla. Yeah, okay. Alright, so we need to come back here with the black hole core. I do like mods that require you to find stuff in the base game areas. I like that bit of connectivity. Okay, is that the... Those are the only accessible ones, I think, are the ones in the high energy lab. So we will meditate. I need to make sure not to hit reload configs. That could break things. Maybe I should turn off development mode. Nah, but I'll need it if I need to debug any issues. Alrighty. So, high energy lab, that's, get to the Sunless City, head down to the bottom first thing. Start of the loop. There's not really any shortcut until you open it up from inside, which requires you to be there at the start of the loop anyway. So let's see if I remember how to get there. No, my grave. Why did I get no information there? I'll ignore that for now. I'm guessing I was not supposed to get an update there. Okay. Ember Twin. But there is a shortcut from the surface somewhere, but I don't remember where. I'll just go in the normal way, I guess. This is probably my... This is either my least favorite planet or second least favorite planet. Because the rising sand is annoying. Near the gravity cannon, that sounds right. I'd say the other option is Giant's Deep, because the ridiculously high gravity really is not fun to navigate around in. Oh, that's right, it's blocked off by cacti. But I think there's a... Is there something around here? Am I crazy? I'm crazy. So the flip side to mods that expect you to remember base game stuff is not everyone remembers the base game stuff. Okay, yes, that is actually, it's coming back to me now, yeah. This rock formation right here. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Look at that smooth flying. Thanks, Yazoo. I did remember what that rock formation looked like, but I did not remember where it was. Okay. Gotta move quick. Up. I'm died of the sand flow. Alright, and this is where it gets fun. This is the claustrophobic cave. Yep. Exactly. Ah, yes, the pit. I do kind of like this from a gameplay standpoint, but it is rude. We gotta wait for the sand to fill up to be able to jump over this cacti. Wait for them to make sure that you don't get to the high energy lab too fast and lose all of the tension in the rising sand. I've seen a lot of streamers get stuck at this part though. They don't understand how to get past it. It's understandable. Yeah, so I did get here fast. Good to know. A little bit too fast, maybe. Give it another minute. I sure hope we don't have to do this every time. I hope whenever we get to where we need to go, we respawn there or whatever. That'd be very annoying. I can't imagine this mod would be as highly rated if you did have to do that. I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of shortcut or break in the time loop mechanic. That would make sense. I keep seeing the YouTube stream in my browser off in the corner of my eye, and it's tripping me up. So every time I move it, moves on a slight delay, so I think there's like something moving in my peripheral vision. I don't think I've ever had that problem before. That's weird. Normally I just ignore it. Alright, almost there. Just gotta wait for it to get past the cacti. And then it's go time. So gotta move quickly through this next section. Is there another place you can get the warp cores? I don't think so. Whitehall Station uses them, but they're embedded in the floor. Yeah. Black Hole Forge, maybe? Can't remember if that has any. I don't think so, but I don't remember for sure. Yeah. That's fine. Alright. Almost there. Ah, yeah, okay. A few seconds too early. There we go. Alright, go, 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 go. Alright. Over the cactus. Other way around. It's not as much of a maze as it looks, but it feels worse than it is, because you're panicking with the sand rising. And then this brings you up a large amount, which makes the sand rising basically no longer an issue. But you have to avoid that trap, because that brings you up into a ghost matter filled room. And you have to be able to look up to see this, which gives you even more height. There we go. Kind of cleverly made. Alright. Black hole core. There we go. That's all we needed. Now we're out of here. Open the door. Get back out. Head back to the ship. All in all, not too long. Not too bad of a time loss. Not, hardly any time loss, really. Since we're restricted by that. The sand pit. Alright. Here we go. Head back to the vessel. It'll be very unfortunate if I get there and get eaten by an anglerfish. See how it goes. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I love the soundtrack. It's so good. Perfectly captures the feel they were going for. Rustic and nostalgic, but also in space. Okay. Just gonna steer into the hole. So fun fact, it is impossible to fly with too much speed through these seeds. When you pass through the entrances, your speed is locked to prevent you from flying past anglerfish and the red seed. There's no way to like ram your way through this entrance to get past them faster. Yeah. And if you accelerate it all after you pass through, you aggro them. Yep, there's the triangle. There's the hypotenuse. Also, I think that's an anglerfish. I want to say. One of those is an anglerfish. Alright, and I'd wait for the anglerfish's body to no longer be visible in the fog. That's my rule of thumb. So it's still there, just barely visible. Still there. Still there, just faintly. And it's gone. Now it should be safe for me to accelerate as long as I'm not next to another angler. Which, that is an angler right there. We're going to drift past it over here. This whole area is very much designed to, like, make you freak out and panic when you need to be exploring. It's very rude. So these spaces are simultaneously way bigger than you think they are, and also way smaller than you think they are. Because, like, if you get rid of the fog, it feels a lot smaller than it is. You can see all the walls. They're not that far away. Alright, there we go. So the warp core right? Yes, perfect. So unrecruited Silent Hill and a Bramble Seed yet? You know, I haven't actually seen very many mods use the fog for, like, horror. Which is a shame. I feel like that would be a very easy thing to do. Maybe I'll do it at some point. Next mod jam will make a horror game. Alright, wait. Went too far. We need to go to the underside of the cockpit. The bridge. Okay. We have gravity here so that we can set items down. Very important. Okay, and that created a black hole. Alright. What's in the black hole? Ooh. Alright, we're switching to a different solar system. Very cool. I can tell because it's taking forever to load. Exciting. A lot of times these intro puzzles are, like, not that impressive because they're just reusing vanilla assets and vanilla locations and adding one or two new elements to it. So it's exciting once you get to the brand new stuff. Alright, well, I am floating in a dim bramble seed. I have my jetpack, but no ship. That makes sense. Left our ship behind. There's the Nomai light. First marker. The frequency of Nomai trail markers. Alright. Fortunately, it appears that our gamble has not quite paid off how we wanted. It seems that we are still trapped within this strange place. What are we going to do? We have neither the means to return to the vessel, nor a source of oxygen. If we do not act quickly, this will almost certainly be our final resting place. If you squint through the fog, there appears to be holes in the walls that surround us. As much as it pains me to say, we need to split up in search of oxygen. I see 6 holes in the walls. We will each select one and attempt to locate a reliable source of oxygen on the other side. Once one is found, return here and wait to lead the others to it. Any luck, this plan will see us all through this endeavor alive. Letting this place is far from optimal, so I'll leave a signal beacon here to ensure that we can find our way back. Luck is on our side and may also lead other Nomai to our current location. So how are they going to know when they need to come back to talk to each other? I don't know. Okay, well, there are 6 exits. Vibes, fair. Is there anything else on this frequency? Any undetected symbols here? Signals? No, not currently. Vibes, yeah. Not very Nomai-like. Okay, yeah, I know how Bramble dimensions work. I guess we'll just pick an exit and head there. In the base game, usually they all go to the same place, but they can go to different places. Oh. This is new. Oh, impact. We got a small bumpy planetoid with trees, with oxygen. There's the seed we came out of. Look upon this tree, friends, and know that it symbolizes all we need to survive in this environment. We are nomai. We will live so long as we have anything to hold on to. So long as this tree stands, our time is not yet through. As long as this tree stands, we can survive this place. Curiously, we all seem to have emerged from the same wood knot a mere few feet from each other, despite the fact that when we left, we were quite far apart. Okay. Well, that worked out then. Yeah. So all the exits do lead to the same place. Suppose that this place does not obey Euclidean laws. What if that wooden sphere is actually the one we found ourselves in, but we are a smaller one inside it? An intriguing idea, Nessia. Suppose that instead, these spheres allow travelers to instantly teleport between them. Convenient, yeah. Like I said, is how most of the base game ones work, with like one or two minor exceptions. But makes sense that they're consistent here. Same way you said to be true, that might explain how we were able to warp earlier. Or this place interfered with our warp. Could it have done the same to the vessel? Friends, while the curiosity of this place intrigued me as well, I believe we should focus on securing our survival first and foremost. Zanetti is right. As much as we may desire to study our environment, our first priority should be to locate oxygen and somewhere to construct shelter. I believe that I can see a number of small planetoids over there. Could they be a candidate? So the objects that Akala speaks of. There appear to be 5 small planetoids, and I believe I can see a tree on one. That settles it then. The tree will provide us oxygen. We can set up basic shelter on the planetoids themselves. One of them seems noticeably smaller than the others, so we should use it for building materials. Based on what we have seen thus far, it may be worthwhile to establish names for the wooden cavities we find ourselves in. Does anyone have a suggestion for this one? It seems quite spacious. To keep it simple but descriptive, I believe the name Briar's Hollow should work well. Alright, so we're in Briar's Hollow. There are 5 planetoids, one of which has been strip mined for resources. This is the one with the tree. I guess first let's check out all the structures on this planetoid. What's that floating there? Is that just a particle effect? It's probably just a particle effect. Yeah, I think so. There's little worm particles that spawn in bramble dimensions. Who's responsible for the campsite on the large planetoid near the center of Briar's Hollow? There's a campsite on the large planetoid near the center. It represents an excellent location for us to build more permanent residence. I'm quite shocked that someone is keeping it to themselves. What if it was a grasshopper? That would be, interesting. I've been putting together shelters. I did not realize there were any other bodies out there. Nessia and Zanetti, doing that. Collis, I've investigated the surrounding area some, but I have not yet located this large planetoid that you speak of. So Collis can't even find it. Zola. Inclined to believe our friends, Nessia and I do not believe... Inclined to believe our friends. Nessia and I do not believe that any of our clan would be willing to keep such a secret from the group. Certain the campsite you saw could not have been a natural formation. I'm absolutely certain. There was a small ring of stones with still smoldering firewood inside. Is it possible the campsite was made by other members of our clan? Perhaps they followed us through our makeshift warp setup and are stranded here as well. As much as I would hope for your hypothesis to be true, there are no other structures indicative of nomai presence, and it has long been outside of our culture to construct campfires. You're saying there is a campsite in here that none of us made? That would imply that there are other sentient beings here besides us. Quite an interesting find, Nessia. We should make our way over there and investigate at once. You recall where we can find this planetoid. I was concerned that I would be unable to find it again, so I planted a signal beacon near the strange campsite. We should go there at once. If there are other sentient creatures here, it is imperative that we determine their level of hostility as soon as possible. So there's a standard Outer Wilds campfire, but placed by something other than them. Interesting. Something else is alive in here. Probably. Is this just an empty box? Cool. Those are allowed. Fair enough. Oh, flew too far. Gravity on here is not very high, understandably. It's not empty when you're inside, that's true. Are those the only two structures? I need to stop using so much jetpack fuel. I don't know if there's a way to replenish it in here. Yeah, those are the only two structures I'm seeing. Oh, so we don't have our ship in here, so I don't know how we're going to read the ship log. Guess we got to play it by ear. Okay, we'll head to one of these other bodies. I wonder if the match velocity feature uses... Oh yeah, it does use... So the ship log model lets you look at them anywhere. Yeah, I just don't know if that's like intended. But yeah, that would be the thing. We do have a mod for that, which is convenient. Yeah, I don't see anything on this planetoid. So I got that one, these other two. So makes 4. They mentioned there were 5, but one of them was used for resources. Wonder if we can find that 5th one or if it's just gone because they've used it all. I think how lumpy these things are. Okay. And there. Oh, but I think I see a structure on that other one. Yeah, okay, there we go. Oh. Ship log updated. Fuel level critical, that's not ideal. Let's just walk the rest of the way. Wherever that was, is that on the North Pole? No. No, it's not. Couldn't be that easy. Where'd it go? Can I pass it somewhere? I must have. Oh, here it is. For a second I was like, wait a minute, is it quantum or something? Fortunately, this body may simply be too small for any effective structures to be built here. It may still have some use. For instance, I believe that this rock may be showing us a possible escape. Collis might be correct. Looking past this wall, I can just barely make out a place where the wooden enclosure seems to end. If this is true, we should investigate immediately. Escaping Briar's Hollow was our first step towards finding the eye. Caution you against raising your hopes, Collis, for we have already seen that this environment is far from easy to navigate. So we can... From here we can see... a way to escape? Is it that opening on the wall? The outer dimension? Try drifting in that direction now that we're out of fuel. It's fine. I really can't spend any oxygen and course correction here. Up. Okay. We did get somewhere new, potentially. It's hard to tell. Definitely leaving a seed. Where's it taking us, though? I think to this, just this vine. Are there any signals here? It's the first marker. Oh. We're gonna die. Is that end times? Yep. Alright, loop's over anyway. Now it looks like we're back here. That's the, those are the same planetoids. Alright, do we restart in here or do we have to come all the way back in? Time to find out. Dang, we're all the way back here. Okay. Oh hey, I almost forgot. Now your ship is outfitted with a warp drive you can use on the ship log? Yeah? Well, it's able to analyze some work signatures. If you happen to come across any strange singularities, you might be able to go where they lead and back using your warp drive. It's also able to pull data from your suit, so it can even let you warp your ship to locations you previously only accessed without it. Oh, okay. Well, that explains it. They've added fast travel. Fair enough. That is convenient. Now, how does this work? Can I warp directly there, or... It's in the city. There's more to explore here. Well, I guess I haven't explored everything on this save. It's not 100% save. So do we have a different mode here? Deep Bramble. And does anything show up on this now? Can I, like, warp to any of these places? I don't see a new button prompt for it, so probably not. Alright, then we'll just, I love the interstellar mode. So pretty. Very cool. Travel to Deep Bramble. Warp. Does that bring our ship to then, I guess? I'll make exploring a lot easier. Okay. Yeah, okay, now we got our ship. Well, that makes things a lot easier. Don't have to worry about running out of fuel or oxygen unless we mess up. Oh, we got a map. We got Bramble's Doorstep, Titan's Tears, Briar's Hollow. Bramble's Doorstep. Going through the black hole in the vessel, I appeared in another part of Dark Bramble. Apparently the four Nomai teleported to the same part of Dark Bramble that I did. No apparent landmarks, the Nomai decided to split up in search of oxygen. Found a signal beacon broadcasting on the Nomai trail markers frequency. Found a small cluster of planetoids with Nomai structures on them. Nomai decided to use the planetoids to construct shelter, so a tree on the largest provided oxygen. Found a spot on one of the planetoids overlooking a hole in the wall of Briar's Hollow. I wondered if this hole might lead them to an escape. A note of the center of Briar's Hollow leads recursively into itself. Okay, I did notice that recursion, yeah. What's the center? So we're at the doorstep dimension, and we can leave here by just finding a hole in the wall. So now we're here. Does this go anywhere? All these bramble vines. It like just goes into the walls like normal. You know, spooky. Haven't seen the anglerfish yet. That's a good sign. Just know there's gonna be something hidden somewhere. Ooh, this is new, I think. Oh, this is definitely new. Is this the place for the campsite they were talking about? Is that a tree house? It's a tree house. Nice. Amalax. Unknown language. Ooh. So we do have other aliens. Is this the place you want to show me, Amalax? Yeah, it's a little place Diddlem and I set up when we were kids. It was our secret hideout whenever things got scary, when the adults would feed the anglerfish. It feels meaningful that you would bring me here, so close to where our species first made contact. I guess so, huh? I'm really grateful you gave me this necklace. I truly am incapable of expressing how much it means to me. I'm glad that you're glad. Ever since I first met you, I thought that you were really, well, just great all around, I guess. Now, the necklace you made me isn't super traditional, but you know what? I love it. I think it symbolizes us really well. Emalax, you are too kind. You know, ever since we became adults, Diddlem kind of stopped coming out here, and well, there's somewhere that I've shared with you now, so maybe we could make it our secret hideout? That sounds okay with you? Sorry, I know that's kind of childish, especially for a big scientist like yourself. I don't think we childish at all, Emalax, and I'm thrilled to do so. Is there something you had in mind? Well, I was thinking that we could write our names on the wall. After all, what's a secret hideout without a mark to let any trespassers know who it belongs to? I think that is a wonderful idea, Amalax. So I guess they wrote their names here. So Amalax, is that a Nomai then? No, Collis is also a Nomai, so I guess not. I guess Collis is the Nomai and he wrote her name. Their name? I don't know what their genders are. Ocalis wrote Amalax's name in Nomai script, and I'm guessing this is Ocalis and whatever the alien script is then. I don't know if we're gonna have to do any translation puzzles, but that's my guess. Well, that's fun. I feel like I missed a reveal there, maybe, but that's Outer Wilds. So there were, in fact, another alien species here that made contact that feed anglerfish, apparently, and make necklaces for each other. It's part of a tradition. Is the campfire? It's certainly ominous. There's a lot of text here. And it's the campfire. Oh, I like how it's different colors. It's not just the default Timber Hearth campfire. Nice. Oh, so we got a campfire. Identified signal nearby. Oh yeah, because they left a signal to track the campfire that they found. Yeah, the camp marker. One of our new friends actually approached me today. I believe it was the same individual that I had previously met at this campsite. Oh? Do they seem to have any particular reason for doing so? As a matter of fact, they led me to somewhere quite interesting. You know the wooden knot that lies at the center of Briar's Hollow, the one that leads back in through an infinite loop? It took me through there, and contrary to what normally happens, we've arrived in an enclosed space. Wooden knot that lies in the center of Briar's Hollow. Normally creates an infinite loop. Strange, what was the space like? It seemed to be a completely overgrown entrance to Briar's Hollow. They beckoned me through another node, although I did not follow them through for fear of being unable to find my way back. I passed through the night you speak of, but I never arrived anywhere that sounds similar to what you described. Confused me as well, Nessia. I'm unsure of how to access that area again. I have a hypothesis. I have noted that the hole one uses to enter that central knot lines up with where they will re-enter the large area. You can look at the exterior of the enclosure that you speak of, and may be able to find the hole that will lead us into it. Ah, so they do have the entrance and exits matter. Haha. I was like, surely a Bramble-focused mod would use that mechanic somewhere. And they do. So there is a particular hole in the central knot in the main Briar's Hollow dimension seed center thing. That lines up to one of the exterior holes. If a member of this other species desires for us to follow them, it may be worthwhile to do so. We've demonstrated they are not hostile. They may know how to escape from this place. Is this our new friend's writing? How exciting. Zanetti, are you able to understand what they have said? Unfortunately, I will need to analyze it more before I can determine what this text says. Though I can assure you I will begin work on my translation as soon as possible. Okay, so this is their logs of meeting with the alien race. So I guess I wasn't supposed to be too far off from learning about the alien encounter. I'm guessing these are probably supposed to be in order, and I've not done it from left to right, but you know, that's Outer Wilds, baby. I'm gonna keep going right to left then. On my way over here this morning, I felt certain that I saw shapes flitting about in the fog. Has anyone else observed this phenomenon? I too have noticed this, friend. They seem to be the same species as the person I made contact with recently. They've been quite bold with me. One was stationed directly outside my window this morning, but ran off as soon as I stirred. What should we do? They do not yet appear hostile, but our stalker's behavior is very concerning. I suspect they will be the ones to make the first move. Remember, stay with one another and do not behave aggressively. I noticed some shapes in the fog when I stepped out of my abode last night as well. You noticed as well, Sinetti. I believe that our strange neighbors may be keeping an eye on us. Yeah, so they were being stalked by the friendly aliens. Friends, I am pleased to announce that I was successful in my attempt to make contact with the stranger. How did it go? Were you able to get a closer look at them? Were they appreciative of your attempt to return their item? It went well, yes, and maybe. I avoided hiding this time, and upon returning to the campsite, they slowly approached me, apparently having noticed that I was holding their tablet. I held it out for them to take, and upon grabbing it, they promptly turned around and left. It appears that they may still be somewhat scared of us if they fled that quickly. As to their appearance, I confirmed what I observed previously. In addition, their teeth seemed to be sharp to a point. Their body was covered in gray skin, and they did have small recesses in their skull where eyes might normally reside. Let's hope that we made a good first impression. They may no longer decide to return now that we have their tablet. Now that they have their tablet. Yeah, okay, because they returned it. My goodness, I was hiding behind one of the trees in the upper ring and observed one of the campsite occupants return. Did they see you as well? If they did, then how did they react? They did not notice me at first. However, when I moved out from behind the tree to try and make contact, they turned towards me before fleeing. Notably, they appear to swim through the air using the webbing on their hands and feet. Oh, that's fun. They can swim. Very interesting, especially given your note that they do not appear to have eyes. Do they seem to have any obvious reason for returning? Actually, they appear to be looking for something. I believe they found it just before I showed myself, but dropped it as they left. It appears to be some sort of painted tablet. Perhaps I should attempt to return it to them? Thanks for the hydrate. While we had previously decided it was best not to initiate contact, the fact that they did not attack you seems to indicate that they are not hostile. Because of this, it may be best for you to return the item. Absolutely. With any luck, I'll be able to get close enough to them to get a better idea of their appearance. Unless you were explicitly instructed not to attempt to interact with them. What if they had attacked you? I know, but I was simply too curious to not try and see the other species. We are Nomai, after all. Really? What do they look like? Do they seem friendly? Worry not, friend. They do not seem to be hostile. I was fairly far away, so I did not have an ideal view on them. However, I was able to tell that they have large ear-like frills on both sides of their head. A large tail, as well as webbed hands and feet. To top it all off, they seem to have no eyes. Yeah, so they have large ear-like frills on both sides of their head. That sounds like gills. potentially, or sensory organs. And they have webbed hands and feet for swimming through the air. That's fun. Because Bramble is not open vacuum. It's actually got air in it. Or some kind of gas. How strange. Do you suppose they navigate without vision? I'm uncertain, but they did seem to notice me when I stepped out from behind the tree. Perhaps they possess some form of echolocation? Here we are, friends, the campsite I have mentioned previously. There's still a few embers among the logs. It seems likely someone was here fairly recently. Perhaps we'll be able to meet them if we remain here long enough. If they were here before, they are lucky to return. As curious as I am about who constructed the site, this may not be wise. We have no idea whether or not the inhabitants of this place are friendly. I believe we should avoid constructing large structures here for the same reason. Even if these people are friendly, they may not take kindly to us treating this body as our own. Amazing, this body is almost entirely covered in grass and trees. How do you suppose it manages to sustain life in a place like this? May need to erect a small lab to study the origins of the soil and plant life to properly understand this. Feel free to set up that lab, but remember not to build anything large. We don't want to be too obstructive to whoever set up this campsite. I think that's all the writing here, except for that alien writing. I wonder if we learn a way to translate that later. Anything else on this planetoid, or, well, even more precisely at this campsite first? I don't think so. I already found the beacon. Anything else here other than the treehouse? And there's a small structure here. Unless there's music, I should turn up that audio. How's the game volume? Is it too loud, too quiet? While I'm here. It's kind of quiet on my end, but that might be my own headset being turned down. Seems fine to you? Alright. Fair enough. I'll turn my own headset up so I can get a better listen for the music. My most recent trip to the iSignal lab on Magma's recursion. These are all places we don't know about yet. Okay. iSignal lab on Magma's recursion. I noticed that one of the gravity crystals had fallen from its mount and cracked. Due to the high cost of production for these crystals, it may be worthwhile to develop a means by which they can be repaired. I brought the crystal here for study. So, a broken gravity crystal here to study it. That would help, but I'm currently fully occupied working on the Distant Node project. Not to be confused with the Ash Twin project, different project. Fortunately, I suspect this is true for all of us. It may take some time to develop a means to repair this crystal. There's an iSignal lab on Magnus Recursion. There's a Distant Node project that Nessie is working on. Now, good news. It seems our friends may have found a way to repair the gravity crystal. If you're interested in learning more, I suggest making your way to the concert hall. So there's something at the concert hall. I understand. I hope we have time to develop a method of repair soon. However, as I worry other crystals may also fall. You got a broken gravity crystal. Curiously, analysis of the soil composition indicates that this body may be composed of the remnants of many others. You mean to say that this planetoid is composed of debris from planets that ended up in this place after their destruction? I do. Trees also show characteristics from many cataloged species, which, combined with the unique set of nutrients they draw from the soil, may explain the strange color of the fire in the campsite. Interesting. So this bramble captures planets, or at least planetary fragments, with such frequency that they're able to congeal into completely new bodies. That's fun. I like that. So these are potentially many different pieces of many different planets smashed together. And the plant life has kind of evolved to take advantage of that. And look at all that. Gas cave, just a node project. So that's going to be important. Rambles doorstep, Titan's Tears. How's the map view look? Lover's Rock. Nice. Okay. So those are the locations we've revealed so far. else on this rock. It's the treehouse. There's the shed with the gravity crystal. There's the campfire pit. No, I think that's it here. Okay. So they said there was a structure around one of the entrances. So if we look around the outer part of the Bramble Dimension, we may be able to find one of them is plugged up. Some other structure. And then we can find the matching entrance in the center. Ah, shoot. Broken thruster. Bramble's so large that it's hard to get a sense of how fast you're moving. I think it'd be hard to stop and change directions. Yeah, of course it's the landing camera. Up. There we go. And then starboard thruster bank. There we go. Ship prepared. So the ship warp core is really a good fit now. For this mod, now that it is canon to this mod that the ship has a warp core. Very fun. Okay. What was that? Is that the thing in the center they were talking about? Is this a different node? There are two entrances here. Unless there's one on the other side that we just can't access. Oh. Where am I? Oh. There's a hole. Sure. Go down this crack. Where is it? What did I do? How did I get there? Saw the transition. Where was that? There we go. Where are we now? No, just on the outside of that. Okay. Okay, we'll try going through the one on the right. Yep, this is a new place. And that is an anglerfish fossil. Classic. Oh. Those are tiny anglerfish. Oh boy. New place, who dis? It is, it's embedded in the, the windshield. Hi. It's just straight up stuck there. Hi, guys. How's it going? Thanks. I hate it, yeah. That's terrifying. Oh, there's another one. You missed. Well, are they stuck there, or are they going to attack me when I get out of the ship? I guess we'll find out. Try to put the hatch as close to the doorway as possible here. I think they're just stuck to the ship. Weird. Goodness, Sokalis was not lying when he remarked on the terrible beast in this area. That anglerfish is massive. Fortunately, it seems the creature is thoroughly domesticated, so it should be no real threat. But I can gather, this fish is the mother of all others domesticated by the Dree. So now we know the name of the species, the Dree. The size of it, it must consume a massive quantity of food just to sustain itself. Even with its sedentary lifestyle, I suspect it would starve if the Dree did not feed it. Update. We have translated the Dree name for the area we find ourselves in. Apparently the Dree refer to everywhere enclosed by this planet as the Deep Bramble. So we're in the Deep Bramble. Interesting. Do you suppose the existence of a deep bramble implies the existence of a shallow bramble? Perhaps the shallow bramble is where the vessel was stranded. You know, the good work, Snetty. I'll appreciate your efforts, both towards deciphering the Dree language and keeping us updated. Stop breathing. I can hear you breathing. You're not allowed. Exciting news, friends. I have made significant progress towards deciphering the language of our neighbors. Do not mind my asking, what particulars of their language have you decrypted? Mostly common words, such as and thee. Notably, however, I have also deciphered certain names. Specifically, the species refer to themselves as the Dree. The Dree I have been working with is known as Diddlum. Good work, Snetty. At this rate, we'll be able to share discoveries with the Dree before too long. This happened to be the same Dree that we first met? That is correct. It seems he's quite eager to help facilitate communications between our two species. It's wonderful news, Snetty. Does this mean there will be fewer obstacles in the way of communication? Somewhat, but I'm still far from completing my translation. I must admit this discovery is rather embarrassing. Apparently I had previously mistaken the Dree adjective modifiers for hostile and neutral. Don't fret, Snetty. It happens to the best of us. So you got hostile and neutral mixed up. That's concerning. Interesting. What led to that error? In our discussions, Diddlum kept using a particular adjective while referring to the group of 3 anglerfish in one of the nodes near Shattered Hearth. We previously assumed this to be an adjective roughly translating to aggressive, but it apparently means neutral or tame. Just barely. Yeah. Basically the same thing, right? 3 anglerfish in a node near Shattered Hearth. Peculiar. Does this imply that those anglerfish actually are not hostile? I believe it does. Do still exercise caution, and it's possible I still don't wholly understand the translation. So there are 3 anglerfish somewhere that are not hostile. Oh, we did read that one. Call Snetty, meet Nessia and I at Graviton's Folly as soon as you can. There's so many place names that I don't know yet. All these names, no context yet. I've probably been not following the intended path, but, you know, such is life. And asked why our presence is required, I'm still working on further studying Dree culture. We have news, but it is news best delivered in person. I'm sorry, but that is all I can say. Did they really do a, you have to, come on, come here, you have to see this? No time to explain? Understood. I only need to finish a few things before I make my way over. So there's something important. They discovered a Graviton's Folly. And there's all these places that are just lore dumps of dozens of Nomai text walls. Thank you for aiding me in testing this, Diddlum. I believe it should work, but it is always best to do some manner of test. No problem. Well, I do want to ask what exactly we're testing. This recorder. I have modified it in such a way that it should be able to transcribe your spoken language in Nomai. Ah, alright. So I just need to talk about something for a bit and make sure it's picking me up properly? Precisely. Just need a topic to talk about, such that we generate a sufficiently large conversation. Let me see. Ah, I've always wondered, Diddlum. What was that stone tablet that Okalis returned to you? Oh, it's honestly kind of embarrassing. But it's a poem that I made for my partner, the Oloma. Turns out that she wanted to keep it, but I had accidentally left it at that camp and had to go back for it. That's very sweet. I'm sure you're quite flattered she valued it so highly. Yeah, I'm not the best writer, but it really meant a lot that she wanted to keep it. Is that all, or do we need to keep talking for a bit? I believe that should be sufficient. I'll need a review of the transcription to ensure its accuracy. Although, would you allow me to borrow your poem? That is a type of text I have not yet encountered in your language, so it may aid in ensuring the accuracy of my translation. Absolutely not. You cannot read my poetry. Snetty, have you had any luck asking the Dree how to leave the Deep Bramble? I've asked many people about how to leave, but so far they all seem certain that escape is impossible. I'm sorry to report my investigations have not uncovered an escape. I've scoured Briar's Hollow, but I've been thoroughly unable to find any new passageways. This is troubling news. If we're unable to locate an exit, we will not be capable of reuniting with the rest of our clan or locating the Eye of the Universe. We shall all continue searching for an exit. I refuse to believe we are entirely ensnared by the bramble. That is troubling. Suppose they simply haven't found a suitable exit yet? I find that to be very unlikely. The Dree have been here for thousands of years. The idea that they would overlook an exit for that long is improbable. Friends, I have truly impactful news. Through the combined efforts of Diddleum, other Dree, and myself, I have completed my translation of the Dree language. I'll write the translation dictionary here. If I format it correctly, it should enable our staves to automatically translate Dree writing. It should prove useful as we learn to fully understand the language. Dictionary recognized. Updating Nomai Translator. Okay, we can now read alien language. We've only seen, I think, 2 walls where we couldn't read them before, but now I guess we can. Fortunately, I struggle to imagine how this will help us communicate with the Dree. We cannot read our messages without eyes, after all. They can, actually. It seems they're able to detect the differences in the materials via echolocation, allowing them to read our writing. So they got very high precision echolocation. Okay, that's fun. This is wonderful, Sinetti. Now we can begin communicating with them in earnest. I must agree that it's certain to mark a significant turning point in our communications with the Dree. To complete a translation of such scale so quickly is very impressive. Well done, Sinetti. So working on these translations, I cannot help but become more and more fascinated by the Dree's culture. For one, the Dree seem to value scientific knowledge much less than us Nomai, instead pursuing more druidic practices. Most of these practices seem to center around the plant that surrounds us, which is simply called a bramble. I seem to recall they referred to it as the deep bramble. Does my memory fail me? There's a small distinction to be made. The deep bramble is the area we are in, while the plant itself is referred to as the bramble. Is this why many other structures seem to be composed of these woody vines? Yes. Interestingly, the Dree seem to have some level of unexplained influence over the bramble. Rather than constructed buildings out of vines, as we previously assumed, it seems that they compel the vines to grow into specific structures. Even the planet they call home is only held together because the Dree willed the vines to do so. How interesting. I look forward to being able to ask how exactly this ability works and what else can be done with it. So they can control the bramble. Nice. I have been wondering how our cultures might differ, but have been obviously unable to ask. Okay. I think that's all there is to learn in this angler nest. Kind of terrifying. I guess not nest, this is a intentional angler breeding ground. And we're in the ruins of the mother angler. The mother of all anglers. Very cool, very cool. Is there anything in the back? I don't think so. Worth double checking. There's a weird light thing there, but I think that may be a glitch. Maybe not. What is that? Oh, that is a glitch. Yeah, that's incorrectly applied texture there. Freaking anglerfish stuck to the window. Silly way to do a jump scare. Okay, anything else in this rather small bramble seed? I don't think so, so I guess we just exit. Okay, and I came out that one. Does the other one lead somewhere different? The one on the left. No. Actually, let me double check. As the rotation is going to confuse me. So, this is the one I came out of. And I'm going into the other one. Yeah, okay, same place. Landing gear damage, that's okay. So I guess these guys are just stuck with me for the rest of the loop now. Yeah, okay, so I exited out of that one again, even though I flew into the other one. And if I fly into this one, I know I've flown in and out of this one like 5 times now, but I just want to double check. Yeah, okay. So the C doesn't matter. Tried moving them from outside. I've been too scared to mess with them outside in case they are still capable of killing me. Okay, no, they don't have collision or anything, or interactivity. They're just stuck there. I wonder if these are male anglerfish. They're smaller and they latch onto larger female anglerfish and embed themselves into it. They become like parasites, basically. Can't even talk to one being Ernesto. Disappointing. Okay, we've learned about so many locations, but I don't know how to get to any of them. As we keep exploring. For anything that looks unnatural. Ah, dang it. Thrusters are broken again. There we go. They didn't mention the knot in the center and the outer entrance that loops back in on itself. But we need to know where that one is to know what the corresponding entrance in the middle is. Yep. Yep. I need windshield wipers. It's my next ship enhancement. And there's end times. Major hull damage, it's fine. Loop's almost over anyway. I don't think the reactor's damaged, so it's not going to explode on us. Although, that's kind of unrecoverable at that point. Only got one thruster bank. Unidentified signal nearby. What? Where are we? Can we do that again? Amplified ambience, natural phenomena. Oh. Anything to check around the seed? That blue cube. Okay, after leaving the area through the opening we found near Titan's Tears, we seem to have emerged into another large open space. Klaus, can you verify the signals that our friends can be found within the node we just left? Give me a moment. Yes, I can detect their signals coming from the node we emerged from. There's a large amount of interference. Excellent, that indicates we should be able to return. I apologize for the interruption, Nessia, but I'm also detecting their signals in that direction. Interesting. Do you suppose we have right back into Briar's Hollow? I suppose so. How exciting. Even seeing the special anomaly from when we first arrived, I never would have expected leaving Briar's Hollow may bring us directly back into it. Suppose this node is recursive in some way? I would explain the curious signal I am detecting coming from it. If it truly is recursive, then this signal may simply be the ambience of this chamber, amplified through multiple passings through this node. So we inform the others immediately. Couldn't read all of it. It's funny that I could still change the page on the translator as the particle effect, or the image effect was happening. Something must have broken that, because normally that locks out all your controls. Interesting. Okay, so I was supposed to find that much earlier. I was supposed to have left through the hole in the wall and found it. I don't think I ever did. Okay, well, at least we won't have anglerfish on the... One more thing. Here we go again. Some last-minute adjustments to your navigation equipment. It made a pretty nice improvement. If you have your signal scope focused on a signal and press your lock-on button, you can lock on to wherever the signal's coming from. As soon as you fully identified the signal, of course. That's a really nice feature, actually. I kind of wish the base game did that. No, but being able to locate it just based on the distance and pointing your signal scope at it, that's kind of half the fun. Never mind. I take it back. That shouldn't have been a base game feature, but it's probably convenient for this mod. That's really good timing for you to bring that up. Thanks. Doing the slate explains the new mechanic thing twice in the same mod. That's crazy. Alright, back to Deep Bramble. And we're only an hour and a half in. Feels like it's been longer. Alrighty. Okay, so that takes us back out here to where the first node is, but if we... Natural phenomena frequency, can we detect the ambience? No. No, we cannot. We can fly out of here. Now we can detect it. And there's multiple things in this frequency. Interesting. Yeah, so here's that seed in the center, okay. Is one of those blue? Or is that just a trick of the light? Okay, no, that is just that. That again. Alright. So it's just pointing towards the center of the node, probably. Alright, where else does it point then? Somewhere out here. That way. Ooh. You hadn't seen this yet. Big purple planet. Ooh. Now that's fancy. Identified signal gravitational anomaly. Ah, this is where they're finding the gravity crystals. Okay, I see. Yeah, it's pushing me out. I'm not doing anything, it's pushing me away. Alright, can we push against the gravity to get inside? Probably. Yep. Alright, nice. Someone did the inner sphere gravity. Hollow planet. At least ship log updates. I don't know where we are. I don't know what we're doing. Not yet had the chance to visit the gravity core at the center of the crystal. Would someone be willing to remind me what sequence of levers need to be turned on to reach the center? Gravity core at the center of the crystal. You need a sequence of levers to reach the center. Of course, if I remember correctly, all the levers should be on except for the second and second to last. Alright, so if we hadn't learned how to translate the text yet, we wouldn't get that clue. I see. Hey, Eucalis, may I ask why you wrote that in their language, though? I find it unlikely any of our new friends will visit this planet. So my understanding the inverted gravity makes them quite uncomfortable. Of course, I attempted to gain practice with their language, as I'm preparing to make a more proper response to the gift Amalax left in my home. That's cute. They're, learning how to write the language for their spouse. Okay. So, all levers on, except for second and second to last. I feel like I just solved an important puzzle. Without having any context for why. Well, the power of stumbling into things in the wrong order. Ooh. Oh, great, we got tunnels. Do I need to be switching directions here, or is it just going to take me into the right place? Right place, okay. So I can get to the center of the giant geode. Can I do something with this? Oh, I bet I can recharge the, oh. I broke it. I broke it. Oh, okay. Never mind. I was gonna say, I bet I can repair the other gravity crystal by coming here somehow, but, okay, no more gravity here. Those are spikes. I'm assuming that lets us access something that would normally the gravity would be too strong for. Is there something hidden in one of these tunnels somewhere? Who needs gravity anyway? Not us. I like the just abrupt silence. It seems to be fairly linear. I like the spikes. I'm glad the spikes don't actually damage me when I float into them. That'd be annoying. Oh, I wonder if the levers turn these on and off, so they do damage you when the gravity's on. So if you flip the levers the wrong way, you just immediately get crushed. Okay, so is there anything here on the outside that I can now reach? So I'm not being pushed down. Sides of these, maybe? Here's what we currently know of the Eye of the Universe. Some time ago, our clan detected a signal older than the universe. Escal immediately had our clan warp to the approximate location of the Eye. Something went wrong. Rather than arriving at the Eye, we arrived in the Bramble, which quickly ensnared and compromised our vessel. While escape pods 1, 2, and 3 were able to launch, our pods were compromised, stranding us. We attempted to construct a makeshift warp device, but it only served to send us deeper into the Bramble, where we've been trapped ever since. While we are continuing our search for a means of escape, the set of circumstances has rendered us currently unable to reunite with our clan and continue the search for the Eye. Unfortunately, we have become unable to detect the signal previously encountered, likely due to our compromising position. Yep, can't detect the Eye's signal anymore. Any supposed signal from the Eye could be older than the universe. Perhaps it is by some mechanism entirely outside of our understanding. Perhaps it'll open some entirely new avenues of research to us. Grim as it may be, it is possible that some equipment malfunction made it appear older than it truly was. Or perhaps the signal was doctored in some way? I find it very unlikely that Eskel would have warped our clan so quickly if an equipment error was a possibility. If the signal was instead doctored, then perhaps we were lucky to have been ensnared by the ramble. Perhaps the Eye originates from somewhere outside of our universe? It almost seems necessary for this to be the case, given how hot and dense the early universe is theorized to have been. This may be a possibility, but I do not wish to become overexcited. But suppose it is some manner of spacecraft, constructed by entities from another universe? Yeah, I mean, that's certainly a theory. What do you all suppose the Eye of the Universe is meant to accomplish? Why did it call out to our clan? Suppose the Eye had no purpose at all. It may simply be a natural phenomenon that happens to emit a signal. Perhaps, but the sudden arrival of the signal is rather odd, and Felix seemed to think the signal was significant. Additionally, I struggled to imagine how a purposeless natural phenomena would be older than the universe. Suppose the Eye is a construct left by some highly advanced species. And explain the sudden arrival of the signal, as it may have some conditions that must be met before it will begin its call. Hypothesis: it may be a craft used to travel between universes. The species used it to come here from an older universe that might explain its apparent age. The signal near Magnum's recursion unfortunately sheds little light on this. Suppose the Eye does not wish to inform us of its purpose. How unsettling. Though we explore other possibilities first, as the idea that the Eye may purposely be withholding information is frightening. I agree. Interesting to see them have similar speculations to the other Nomai clans. And before I run out of time, is there something else I can reach here? Top of that tower, maybe? No, I feel like I could land my ship on top of it, but you can check. Ambient gravitational disturbance detected. Gravitational level negligible. Okay, yes, that's just telling us that we in fact broke gravity. Very good. Good job, us. Okay. Well, now we can explore these, I guess. Nothing in this one. Any text on the outside? No. I don't think we learned anything new about the Eye. Other than they've got something related to the Eye's signal in one of those places. This is new. Amalax. Callis, I have left a gift for you here. I hope you like it. It is wonderful, Amalax. I fail to recall ever seeing such an intricate necklace, much less one woven from vines. There's no need to come all the way to Graviton's Folly to deliver it, though. Oh, we're in Graviton's Folly. That would make sense, hence the gravitation. I understand that the inverted gravity is uncomfortable to navigate with your echolocation. Glad to hear that you like it. I thought that it was important enough to deliver it myself, even if that meant just leaving it in your house. Well, I very much appreciate it. I'll accept it as a surefire token of the continued friendship between ourselves and our species. Oh, cute. Those the only two structures in this face? Yeah. Onessia heads the study of our new friends' physiology. I'd like to take the opportunity to share aspects of their culture that I learned during my translation of their language. Rather than engaging in scientific pursuits, they seem to exercise certain influences over the bramble. This includes influencing the growth of the vines, as demonstrated by those holding together Shattered Hearth, even some level of communication with the plant. Hypothesis. They are able to communicate with the vines, they may be able to inform us of what became of the launched escape pods. Resuming our studies, they seem to gain most of their nutrition from anglerfish eggs, domesticating and breeding the fish to do so. Interesting. I wonder how they began this practice. Can't imagine that anglerfish eggs would have been terribly easy for their ancestors to procure. I believe I do actually have the answer to this question, as an old story may explain it. The story is too long to transcribe here, but I had previously recorded on Magma's Recursion. Seen that name a lot. Definitely need to find where Magma's Recursion is. Agreed. Even now, they continue to keep lights on their homes to ward off any wandering fish. I observed that our friends seem rather stagnant. They seem uninterested in exploring beyond their immediate vicinity. They appear to have entirely accepted their current situation. Probably in the mods area. Probably. That would make the most sense. I agree, Nessia. We have also observed how this can be destructive, as they were unwilling to take the necessary risks to retrieve Diddlum when he became stranded at the venomous reject, unable to cross the nursery. Fortunately, that event seems to have changed their outlook considerably, as well as inspired them to put more trust in us than they did previously. Venomous reject at the nursery. Sounds ominous. Was the nursery the place we found with the anglerfish in it? I didn't see anything resembling a venomous reject there. Sounds venomous? It does. Their friend's language translated, we can begin assembling a better understanding of their physiology. I erected this text wall to serve as a location for recording our findings. Running out of oxygen, that's probably fine. Let me, head back to the ship real quick. The loop. Yeah, that was just the music stopping, okay. Not the loop ending. Better understand their physiology. Nessia, Zola and myself had the pleasure of attending an alien concert recently. Posited that they may have different vocal organs than us, allowing them to produce the otherworldly sounds we observed. It's a loop, but out of the music. Yeah. But of the music. Yep. Exactly. Nettie, from what I've gathered, they have inhabited the deep ramble in all of their stories, so it is very likely that they developed enhanced vocal organs as an adaptation to the environment. Our friends seem to navigate entirely through echolocation, emitting a high-pitched tone that they use to measure their distance to solid objects in their environment. Notably, this tone is also outside of the hearing range of all but the youngest anglerfish, as we learned when Diddlum became trapped on the far side of the nursery, unable to return without his tone alerting the juvenile fish in that area. Aliens possess many adaptations that make them well suited towards the environment of the deep bramble. Most noteworthy is their sensitive hearing and the thin webs between their fingers and toes. It should be noted that certain traits suggest they may originate from somewhere with more light, such as their shallow, likely vestigial eye sockets. Perhaps they were not originally from the deep bramble? Especially impressive, their hearing even allows them to read by detecting the differences in sound reflecting off different textures. Seems to be why they write with such a thick, soft substance, and how they can read the chalky lines written by ourselves. It seems that this hearing is even sensitive enough to detect certain biological signals. Amalak seems to use my pulse to determine when I am tense or nervous. This may have helped them avoid predators in the past, such as the anglerfish. That all makes sense. So they act much like deep-sea creatures themselves. So, you told us to meet you here? You said there was news to discuss. Yes, Annette Ocalis. It seems that our friends on the third escape pod have perished. What? Are you certain? I don't understand how we could have learned this given our current situation. I spoke with Karenia, who was able to commune with the bramble. In doing that, she learned that the third pod became ensnared in the vines, causing its passengers to suffocate. I cannot believe. I understand tensions are elevated in light of these events. I suggest we take a moment to mourn, after which we will construct a memorial in their memory. Okay, that is definitely something that's worth saving to explain in person. That makes sense. We construct this memorial in remembrance of those aboard the third pod, whose lives were lost as they attempted to flee from the bramble. Record your thoughts of our lost friends here, so we may always remember them. That's cute. Not cute, you know, but you know what I mean. Zola. Escal, I'm sorry, but I feel my leadership fails to reach the standard of your memory. Regardless of what I attempt, I am unable to maintain morale among our small crew. This depressive miasma seems to be claiming me as well. I'm trying to utilize the leadership skills you gifted me, but they are proving ineffective. I can only hope I make a breakthrough soon. I am clueless as to how to locate an escape that native people have been unable to find for thousands of years. I am clueless as to how to motivate them in the face of such insurmountable odds. Escal, leader of our clan, remember your bravery and daring, and how you led our people to many great discoveries. We carry your memory with us. Din, protector of all, remember your analytic nature and your dedication to the well-being of all in the clan. We carry your memory with us. The third pod, protector of its charges. We know you did everything you could to save them. We thank you for your efforts. We carry your memory with us. They're even mourning the escape pod itself. That's cute. Oh, this side has text too. Friends, I have spectacular news. Amalex has informed me that there is a mysterious signal reverberating throughout the area surrounding Magma's recursion. It arrived shortly before we did. I'm certain it must be the signal from the eye. Callis, consider what you're saying for a moment. It seems highly implausible that the eye's signal penetrated into the deep bramble, then became trapped in a particular area. How would that even occur? I know that it seems implausible, but so does the signal older than the universe. It is what our clan risked everything to find in the first place. We would be disrespecting their sacrifice if we sit idle while a mysterious signal is well within our grasp. Please, look at yourselves. We are Nomai. We are meant to make discoveries. We have been entirely idle for entirely too long. We need this. You're correct, Okalis. As wounded as we may be, stagnating here will do us no good. Friends would not have wanted us to stay here forever, refusing to move on. Fair points, both of you. Alright, we will investigate this mysterious signal, but only if we unanimously agree to do so. Understood? Understood. Naturally, I agree we should investigate. Certainly be a risk, but I agree we should at least perform a cursory investigation. How our luck has been lately, Okalis, I have some trouble believing that. In response to, finding the eye signal. So they mentioned that the signals can, like, continue looping back on the same seed if the seed is self-recursive, so it makes sense that there would be a place that could have captured the eye signal and repeated it indefinitely. And those who we did not know personally, you are Nomai, and so it is certain that you were inquisitive and curious, undeserving of the fate that befell you. We carry your memory with us. Sekka, beloved of Nessia, remember your companionship and mirth, and your ability to brighten any room you were in. Carry your memory with us. I can't believe I'll never see you again, Sekka. The future seems unknown and dark without your light to guide us through it. I do not know how to go on without you by my side. One of them was one of their spouses. That makes sense. I suppose our friends on the first and second pod survived? Garenia was unable to ascertain what became of the rest of our clan, which indicates they at least escaped the bramble. I suppose they may be able to find us, be able to locate us. Our makeshift warp setup should still be intact. Perhaps they will find us. Snetty, anyone who may have survived the crash has certainly made the reasonable assumption that we all perish as well. As such, they will certainly be unwilling to return to the bramble. We are on our own. Don't lose hope, friend. They are our clan. We cannot so completely assume they would abandon us entirely. Stop it, Azola. You've been in the deep bramble for months now. At this point, the rest of our clan has certainly concluded that, if we had survived, we would have found a way out of the bramble. No one is coming for us, and the idea that we can locate and exit the others have neglected for thousands of years is completely nonsensical. Nessia. I apologize for mentioning this topic. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so that's this face. Oh. This planet appears to be the source of the gravitational anomaly. The signal has been detected in every direction since we entered, and, well, there's also the obviously abnormal behavior of the planet. I'm thankful that you noticed this place. It will be an excellent environment to set up a more permanent settlement. Particularly, this giant crystal should prove remarkably flat ground for construction. Remember, our ultimate goal is to escape from here, not to establish permanent residence. It may be worthwhile to investigate whether or not this gravitational anomaly may be utilized elsewhere. Suppose it is inherent to the crystal composing the ground? Hypothesis. If this property is inherent to the material, it may allow us to create constructions in zero-gravity environments. Yeah, so they use this to create gravity crystals elsewhere. We guessed as much, based on the fact that they had a broken crystal. Nessia, I said you had something to discuss with me? Yes, it is a matter of utmost importance. I thought it best to bring it up to you before the others. Is this regarding your discussion with Karenia? I must confess that your change in demeanor after that conversation has piqued my curiosity. Nessia, why are you crying? I'm sorry, Isola. My grief is overwhelming me. I knew that our new friends possessed strange abilities, so I decided to speak with one regarding the rest of our clan to try and determine their fate, and... The third escape pod did not escape the bramble. Apparently, the pod became ensnared to the vines, and, stranded away from the vessel, our friends, they... What are you saying, Nessia? They perished. They had no source of oxygen and all asphyxiated. Din is dead. Escal is dead. Even... You're certain of this? Krenia couldn't have made some sort of mistake? No, she was quite certain. She believed the other two pods escaped to relative safety, but she was certain that the bramble had claimed the third pod. I'll leave a note at the language lab to notify Sinetti and Okalis that we need to meet. Do not wish to ruin their good mood so shortly after Sinetti's translation, but they deserve to know. Nessia, I know that you and Seka were partners. While we are all deeply affected by the loss of our friends, I know that you must be especially hurt by this news. Be gentle with yourself, okay? Thank you, Isola. I want sure that I take the proper time to mourn. Yes, indeed. Anything on this one? No. Okay. Am I missing any sides? Memorial. And discussions of their physiology. The other houses. I think I've done already. Yeah. When are we getting happy wilds instead of everyone is dead wilds? Yeah, this game does attract a lot of depressing narratives. To be fair, it's been mostly hopeful other than that particular discussion. Folly's core, there's more to explore here. You don't say. Core lab. Yeah, the stuff we haven't explored here. Signal stranded alien. We got a lot of information here that we haven't explored yet. Alright, so there's that lab. I think that's the place that we are on top of. Let's go check that out. This place here. In a lab to study the alien's language, I propose that we construct another lab here to investigate the crystal that floats above our heads. I can help you with this, Nessia. I'm quite excited to see what secrets the crystal holds. Suppose it has something to do with the gravity of this planet? It may. The material we have sampled from Graviton's Folly exhibits only light gravitational properties. It may be possible that crystal strengthens them somehow. Imagine this knowledge would be quite useful to future attempts to use the material. And now Sinetti is having to refine large quantities to create the attractive force desired. Yeah, so it's not very efficient. Gravity crystal compared to Brittle Hollows. Zola and I made a notable discovery when we ventured into the crystal suspended above our heads. It seems to contain a small, delicate core that emanates strange energy. Interesting. Do you have a hypothesis as to what this core may be? We aren't certain yet, but we noted that the energy emitted by the core is similar to that which comes from the internal surface of the planet. More specifically, the core's energy seems to be able to combine with the surface energy in a way that enhances it. Interesting. So this core is what allows the strong gravitational anomaly of this planet? As our current hypothesis. Fortunately, we will be unable to test this hypothesis, so that would likely involve damaging the delicate crystalline structure of the core. Doing this may prove our hypothesis correct, but it would also be likely to irreversibly destabilize the gravity of the planet. Yeah, who would do that? That would be that would cause irreversible damage. Crazy. I have a troubling update, friends. It seems the main entrance to the venomous reject has been killed off by the toxin in that area. To make matters worse, this is stranded Diddlum. Is there not another way there through the tube-like area referred to as the nursery? Yeah. You should be able to simply drift through to return, correct? Unfortunately, the nutrient-rich fog of the nursery is quite thick, swiftly halting any movement that isn't supported by a constant force. Right, I remember our friends cautioning us to be careful in there, as it would be easy for our thrusters to alert the fish. I've spoken to his people about possible rescue methods, but they seem convinced all attempts would either fail or result in many deaths. When I spoke to them, they were already preparing for a period of mourning. It pains me to think how the inability to rescue their friend must be hurting them. I struggle to understand how they could have given up hope so quickly. Friends, if our friends do not believe it is possible to save Diddlum, then it is up to us to do so. We cannot simply allow him to perish without attempting rescue, especially after how his people pulled us from the heat of Magma's recursion. I agree. Diddlum came for us in our time of need. We must be willing to do the same for him. We will not rest until Diddlum is returned home. So our studies in this lab have already concluded. We can use the extra space to discuss various rescue methods. Forgive me if the answer is obvious, but what is preventing Diddlum from simply crossing back through the nursery? I cannot imagine his swimming would generate enough noise to alert the fish. While this would ordinarily be true, the fish in the nursery are young enough to hear the high-pitched tones he uses for echolocation. Perhaps he could cross the nursery anyways? Seems it would be possible if he simply didn't use his echolocation. Even if he were to attempt that, the viscosity of the fog would require him to constantly swim forward. Combined with an inability to observe his surroundings, an accidental noisy collision becomes all but assured. Considering the fear that would come for us from navigating the nursery blind. Under those circumstances, I know that I may not be able to keep my eyes closed. Cannot expect Diddlum wouldn't attempt to echolocate, even if involuntarily. I see. So as soon as he attempted to get his bearings, they would be alerted and attack. From what I understand, the smaller size of the juvenile fish renders them slower than the adults. Would you be able to simply rush past them? Unfortunately, the thick fog in that area would hinder our movement to the point they would be able to catch us, especially since they use the fog itself to repel their movement. I imagine this effect would also be worsened on the return trip, as we would need to bring Diddlum back with us. Even if that were not the case, disturbing them on the way there would likely position them into an impassable barrier, straining us as well. What was that? Moving through the fog hinders us. Even if that were not the case, even if we could move through the fog, disturbing them would likely position them into an impassable barrier. Oh, okay, so yeah, the fish would block the way. Got it. I believe I may have a plan to rescue Diddlum, but I'll need to conduct more research at the enzyme lab. Please make your way over there ASAP. I truly believe this idea is promising. So there's an enzyme lab. I wonder if they use that to modify anglerfish behavior or something. I seem to have forgotten where the enzyme lab is. Would you mind reminding me? The lab resides in one of the fish near the anglerfish observation platform. It's fairly large, so it should be plainly visible. Resides in one of the fish near the anglerfish observation platform. For note, remember to pet the fish's eye before attempting to enter the lab, otherwise the fish will likely digest you. Interesting. They have to go inside the fish, and they have to pet the fish's eye for it not to eat them. Interesting. Okay. So we'll need to find the enzyme lab to figure out how to get through the nursery, which we haven't found yet. And this looks like a mining site, probably. They were carving out space for the... And we're looking at the strip mine ramps. Snetty, can I ask how the construction of your translation lab is coming along? Progress is slow but steady. I must confess, the small size of the entrance is making it quite difficult to transport the necessary material. The distance that the material must be hauled is also impeding my progress. The journey from this quarry to the construction site is not a short one. Have you not been using the larger entrance? There's a larger entrance? Yes, there's a much larger entrance. It would make transporting your material much easier, especially since it is relatively close to Graviton's Folly. I imagine the locals will also be much happier without us hauling all of our material through their home. I'll be sure to start using that entrance then. Thank you for the information. I'll make one more trip along the usual path and leave a short-lived beacon at the construction site to make it easier to find the larger entrance you speak of. Do I have a trail marker for that? I don't think so. Not in this dimension, anyway. I feel like I'm learning a lot about locations that I don't know where they are yet. Look at that. Quarry Translation Lab. Okay, is that where I've been? I was able to get the baby anglerfish to latch onto my ship so that I could get past. I didn't even realize that was a puzzle. One of the gnome I observed a massive anglerfish residing near the translation lab. He theorized that due to its size, it would starve if the Dory did not continue to feed it. Now the translations we've already done. My writing claims that one of the areas accessible near Shattered Hearth contains 3 tame anglerfish. I have no idea where that could be. You have not found the enclosed space. The hole one used to enter the node lines up directly with where they re-enter the larger space. Yeah, so we haven't found that yet. We haven't found the concert hall. Repair the broken crystal in the soil lab in some sort of concert hall. Yep. Pillar Town. I think we've learned everything there, it looks like. Lab, Stranded Alien, Polyscore. So much stuff. At least there's no more to explore as for places we've already been so far. It's just new locations to do next. Are there any other structures in here we haven't been to? There's the quarry, there's the town. We broke the crystal in the center. There's nothing down in the quarry, is there? I don't think so. I don't see any little dots anywhere. Okay. Did all that. Did all that. Okay. I guess we're done at Graviton's Folly. Very cool. Are there any other signals on this frequency we have not found? There is. That sounds like lava. Is that the fabled magma recursion? Ah. I'm gonna slam into the wall. Ah. Okay, not dead. What is this black void? Is there a bramble seed there? Let's see the thing glow. No. Where's that? It's a solid wall. Is there another side that's open? Or is this the enclosed side that I need to enter from the center? That might be the bubble that I have to enter from the center point. Let me try that. That should be this side right here. Yeah, this is a new space. Alright. Can I jump through here to get a ship log so I can come back here later? Where's this? Oh, this is a big new area. That's a lot of bramble nodes. And there's the planet that's stitched together with vines that they were mentioning. This must be the aliens' homeworld. Okay, well, we're definitely coming back here. I think I found the new hub. We're out of time, though. A table. Oh, yeah, out of time. Didn't get to read any of that. Something about a park. Alright, we're at the 2-hour mark. I'm going to keep going, but I'm going to go take a quick bathroom break. I will be right back as soon as I can pause again. I've been drinking a lot of fluids today, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. Alright. Oh, what? Oh, well, that's convenient. Didn't have to restart from scratch. Alright, I'll be right back. Alrighty. I have returned. Ta-da. Okay, back into it. This is still the entryway, I think, so that hasn't changed. What if they just automatically start respawning you in here after enough times? Yeah, so in a lot of ways, this mod is just a better version of what our jam mod did all those years ago. We do some things different with the core mechanic, I think, but there's a lot of very close thematic similarities here. Okay, so we should be able to use that natural phenomenon now to figure out the right seed to enter. There we go. So I just find where on the wall this is. Right there. And that's an... Is that opening? No. That is a enclosed surface. Okay. Out. And then we go to the ambience to get to the center. There it is. Okay, now that we got time, is there anything in this little dimension here we should be exploring? Is it just the seed? I hate these dark bramble chambers. Man, this is a big mod. I see why they say 4 to 6 hours. Or 6 to 8 hours, sorry. This is a lot of content. Okay, there's obviously all those seeds around the borders. Let's see what there is to find here first. There's a big tree with a park. Start there. Also, I should repair the oxygen tank because that can and will run out of oxygen if it's broken. That's a little bit inconvenient. Also, it's really annoying to repair when you're on the ground. There we go. Crisis averted. This park appears to be the main social center for these people. I greatly enjoy deciphering their language, but as it stands, I have nowhere to do my work nearby. I have some positive news on that front, my friend. The alien we first made contact with, assuming I'm correctly interpreting their message, is directing us to set up a lab for just that purpose. If that is true, and I'm thrilled to hear it. Where are we being permitted to put this lab? That appears to be the catch. We seem to be intended to construct the lab in the area accessible through the knot currently over our heads, which has no bodies with significant gravity. Additionally, while I have been assured that it is quite harmless, there does seem to be some manner of beast in that area. Like a gravity issue, while frustrating, can be tolerated. As for the beast, if it means deciphering the language of these people, then I'll be able to power through, regardless of how hideous it may be. I only appreciate your courage in the pursuit of discovery, Sinetti. I believe I may be able to assist with your gravity issue. I've detected a strange signal in Briar's Hollow that seems to be some manner of natural gravitational disturbance. Yeah, we've been there. That's quite an interesting find, Nessia. Now that we are better acquainted with our newfound friends, I propose you and I investigate that signal at once, while Sinetti and Ocalis begin constructing the translation lab. The low visibility of this place, I suspect signals such as that will be highly valuable. We know about that. Okay, so this is this. So the seed right above our heads. So does this take us to the translation lab then that we've already been to with the hollowed out angler? Yes, okay. So this was the annoying entrance that they talked about having to haul materials to. And then the one we randomly happened to discover through exploring outside is the bigger entrance that they mentioned finding that was useful. So that plot thread is wrapped up. Cool, cool, cool. Whew. Yeah, I forgot how much more tiring streaming is when you're talking the entire time because of dialogue. That is how streaming works. Oh, so these are their houses. They mentioned they have lights to ward off anglerfish. Neat. I wonder if I can read the nameplates now, since I can translate their language. Grenia. Now that was the druid lady who could commune with the vines. Hello, my name is Nessia. It is my understanding that you are the head druid of your people. Is that correct? Yes, why do you ask? I was hoping you may be able to give some insight on the circumstances surrounding the rest of our clan. Is that within your capabilities? Maybe. I can commune with the bramble enough to figure out their fates within its walls, but I won't be able to figure out what might have happened outside. I believe that will be sufficient. 3 pods were launched from the vessel. Can you ascertain what happened to them? Let me see. Okay, I have the vines talking about your vessel, and yes, they're saying that objects escaped. I actually seem a little confused. That doesn't happen often. Wait, oh. Oh no, I'm so sorry. But it seems like one of the pods didn't make it. Hearing talk of a captured object. No. Can you determine which pod it was? Who was aboard? I'm sorry, but it's all jumbled. I can't tell anything specific without knowing something about the people. Sekka, please, please, I need to know if Sekka is unharmed. Hold on, I'll ask. I'm so sorry, but I'm hearing echoes of that name. Bramble only ever learns a name when it claims the person it belongs to. Seems that they were caught without air and asphyxiated. No, no, please, are you certain that she perished? There's no mistaking it? I'm sorry, but the vines are very clear. Was she someone that you knew? She was my love. I'm sorry, I can't... Wait, Nessia, where are you going? Yeah, we know where that ends up. Closed space. Alien Park. Translation Lab, yep. Karenia's house. So the translation lab was supposed to be a major secret, and we just stumbled across it by flying around. Very cool. As I suspected, we were not supposed to be able to translate alien words so early. Oh, that reminds me, I should check what they wrote in the campsite at the start. Sounds about right, honestly. Yeah. Outer Wilds, man. I don't think it was quite as bad as stumbling into the Ash Twin project, but it's definitely something. That's that house. There was another one up here. This one, the light is out. Okay. Yeah, is that just straight up an anglerfish lure? I think it might be. Good thing that they signposted the correct ones with the big light. Okay. All these seeds around, but I'm mostly looking for stuff on the ceilings at the moment. So this one has an orange light, not a green light. Must be color-coded somehow. Amylax. Ah, yeah. That's, the one that's flirting with the Nomai. Amylax, can I converse with you for a moment? There have been recent developments that have been troubling me. Oh, I'm sure, I guess. What do you want to talk about? The other Nomai and I have recently learned that a large portion of our clan perished in the Bramble, one of them being Nessia's partner. Naturally, everyone has found themselves demoralized, and I'm unsure of what I can do to remedy the situation. Oh, Bramble, I'm so sorry. It really is. Instead of, oh god, it's oh Bramble. Nessia believes that we will never be able to escape the deep Bramble. This outlook has spread through everyone else like a miasma. I mean, would that be such a bad thing? Excuse me? Hold on, hear me out. Ever since you guys showed up, you've made comments on 2 main things. 1, that you and Nomai are intensely curious. And 2, that the deep Bramble is probably the weirdest place that your people have ever found. However, you also keep saying a third thing, which seems to contradict those 2, and that's that you desperately want to leave. I know that you all want to see the rest of your people again, but if that's not possible right now, why not make the best of the situation? That's actually a very solid argument. At this point, it has become clear that escape is not easily achievable. Perhaps investigating the phenomena surrounding us would be the most efficient use for a time. That's the spirit. I mean, there are so many things you guys could try and figure out, like how the space inside of the nodes works, how things end up in the deep Bramble in the first place, and that signal that came through a while back and ended up stuck in the area around Magma's recursion. Wait, a signal? Amylax, when did this signal first appear? Pretty shortly before you guys showed up, actually. Some of us actually thought you all might have caused it. The Eye, that's the only explanation. Signal from the Eye of the Universe must have passed through here. Said it's still reverberating throughout the area surrounding Magma's recursion. I must notify the others immediately. This is sure to spark their curiosity. Wait, Okalis, don't run off so fast. That whole area is super dangerous. Oh, Bramble, I hope the other Nomai are more careful than he is. They're gonna get themselves killed. Oh, can I read that? Hello, Amalax. I apologize for not reacting properly to the gift you left in my home in Graviton's Folly. I did not understand at the time that it was part of a courting ritual. As for my response, I wholeheartedly accept your offer of partnership. I have left the appropriate necklace in your home as per the second half of the ritual. If you don't mind, but I was unable to construct it from the traditional vines as I lack the talents shared by your people. I also sincerely hope the wall I had to construct to write this message is unobstructive. It should be fairly easy to assemble, which we could even do together if you so wished. That's cute. So they are officially a couple. Good for them. I wholeheartedly support alien cross-species relationships between two consenting individuals of sufficient intellectual ability. Okay, don't fall. I think there's a zero gravity volume around the houses to make it easier to get into them. And I flew outside of it. Alright, this one is empty, yep. Half expecting Ernesto to be in one of these, honestly. Okay. There we go. Is there a third set of houses somewhere, potentially? There is their other friend. And there's one over here on this vine. I assume this one's also empty, though. Yeah, it's looking pretty empty. Little bramble pods. Honestly, this is the most wholesome that Dark Bramble has ever been. In any Outer Wilds content. Outside of one anglerfish jump scare, we've basically had no issues. Nothing is dangerous or threatening. Considering there was another mod that was about the evil god that controls the bramble, the Eldritch Horror. It's nice to see that we got one that considers the bramble to be much less evil intrinsically. Hey Carrick, how's it going? How's the mod? Pretty good so far. It is definitely, I can see why they say it's 6 to 8 hours long. We are nearly 2.5 hours in, and I feel like there's a lot of places I haven't been yet. Alright, is there a way down into here? Sort of, not really. Okay. I think it wants me to go down on foot, which just seems like a really bad idea. So let's see if there's a place I can wedge the ship in. Maybe that's big enough? Not quite. Just woke up from a nap. Nice. How was your nap? You feeling rested? Oh. No, not quite. Alright. I guess I'll take the plunge into the terrifying magma. What's the worst that could happen? Gotta answer that. There's a lot. Okay. There's an orange seed. Oh, and I'm about to slam into the ceiling. Okay, we're alive. Is there anything else down here, or is it just the seed? And there's the one speck of purple, which I think was a Nomai beacon. I don't know where that is, though. Oh well. Alright. What's in here? Alright, this looks like Magma's recursion. I think we finally found it. Excessive heat detected. Yeah, that checks out. Am I dying? I'm sizzling. Oh. Well, okay, I'm gonna die that way. Sure. That makes sense. Fair enough. I didn't think I was traveling that fast, but distances are very misleading. Well, at least we know how to get back there relatively quick. I wonder if there's a faster way to get there than having to do the triangulation trick. You bug it from the logs? Possibly. But I think that's just going to point to the seed as a whole, not which entrance. Let's see, if I mark, like, one of these locations... Doesn't even show up in here. And now it does. Duplicate signal. Oh, well, I guess I can... Okay, I can match it up that way. I can see which way this one is pointing. Put it behind me. Okay. That does work. Cool, cool, cool. App. Don't slam it. Come on. I ain't flying around Bramble. I'm never doing a Bramble mod again. This is a terrible idea. Okay, there's all these seeds, and I'm gonna need to explore them, but it's hard to keep track of which ones I've been to. So I'm putting it off. Alright, I definitely saw purple shiny thing somewhere. Right there. Oh. I missed it. Can I get it on the runabout? Yeah, just gonna lock on here. It's not emitting a signal. Be wary, friends. The space that lies beyond this node is filled with an extreme heat. If you must enter, be prepared to move quickly. The temperature is sufficient to cook you inside of your suit. We've erected a gravity lift to bring you down to the planet's surface. Find your way into it, and you'll be brought into an area where the heat is somewhat dissipated. Simply keep watch for it. It is plainly visible as you approach. Okay. So there's a thing I'm supposed to fly into. Okay, yeah. Aim for the tractor beam. There we go. ominous. Our new friends were not exaggerating. This area is quite hot. We'll be quite relieved when we set up the portable life support. And will as well. I fear we would not survive long in this heat otherwise. I don't seem to be able to fire my port side thrusters, which is making maneuvering difficult. I seem to have lost vertical thrust. I believe the excessive heat may be interfering with our propulsion systems. I advise we retreat for the moment. I actually seem to have lost all thrust. I may require assistance to return. Unfortunately, that seems to be the case for all of us. It seems we are trapped here for the time being. The temperature here is entirely inhospitable. If we aren't able to find a way to propel ourselves soon, we aren't going to make it out. Is heat affecting my vision, or is there movement coming from the entrance? There is. It seems our friends have noticed our plight and have come to retrieve us. As diddled. Hey, we noticed you stopped moving. I thought you were going to go to the surface to set up life support. We were, but it appears our propulsion systems failed due to the heat. Told you it was a bad idea to come far in here, weird signal or not. Come on, let's get you out of here. Thank you. To get us out of here, we should be entirely able to modify our propulsion systems to handle the heat, making our return trip much more successful. Here I thought you couldn't tell a joke without the science of it going over my head. Rather, Bramble, you're serious, aren't you? Yeah, they do intend to come back. That's new. We have jetpack fuel! Huzzah! Which means we're gonna need it in here. I'm quite thankful our friends mounted that rescue operation. When we packed lost thrust, I was certain we were to be cooked. I'm very thankful as well. Honestly, we should have considered the possibility of equipment failure under the seat, especially after we saw how it was used to cook anglerfish eggs. Couldn't help but wonder how they first started stealing those eggs. Anglerfish hardly seem like the kind of beast you would want to approach. Actually, one of the language samples I analyzed during my translation is an old story that seeks to explain exactly that. As the story goes, they had found a massive anglerfish keeping watch over a clutch of eggs. The ancient aliens were starving, as they had failed to find food for days, and began devising a plan to steal the eggs. Sincerely hope that this turns out to be a story of triumph rather than one of starvation. They ultimately decided to distract the mother with a massive rock that was in the vicinity, hoping that slamming it into a nearby wall would lure the mother away for long enough to grab a few of the eggs and flee under pursuit. However, when the mother reached the rock, she did not turn around and pursue the thieves. Instead, she sank her teeth into the rock and stayed there, drifting with it. This distracted the fish long enough for the aliens to take as many eggs as they wanted. Supposedly, the fish were still latched onto the rock as they left. An interesting tale. Why do you suppose the mother behaved like that? And the fish unable to distinguish between organic and inorganic prey? Interesting hypothesis, Nessia. I'd love to test it, if it were not for the fact that our friends would likely not appreciate us feeding rocks to their fish. Certainly a miscalculation on my part. With the equipment failure. So everybody alright? Yes, I believe so. I'm taking the liberty of deploying portable life support, so this crater should remain cool and oxygen-rich, at least relatively speaking. Excellent. We should begin exploring once we have our bearings. Top priority should be finding somewhere with shelter from the heat. Our equipment will not survive long enough to analyze the signal in this environment. I believe it is possible to hear the signal without equipment, which would suggest reception will not be an issue. Okay. Trying to hear the eye's signal. Does this give us a path back out? Yeah, okay, cool. Now, I wonder what happened to their civilization. So we obviously haven't seen any of them. And the Dree. Oh, they must have died out at some point. Okay, move fast. Are these life support things? Prevent us from burning? That would make sense. Since the heat of this planet does not seem to relent on the surface, it seems inadvisable to establish a permanent residence here. Therefore, I would suggest we simply construct a lab to study the eye's signal. I know the signal is our main focus. I believe I have found an additional item worth investigating. Some distance away, there is an opening on the side of a hill. This opening leads to a rock that seems to move when unobserved. I would certainly like to study this mysterious stone. I struggle to imagine what may cause this sort of behavior. I believe I may have found a suitable location for this lab, on another island. On another island, I found a cave leading down. It's an area filled with gas, but I believe the upper area may be cool enough for our equipment to function correctly, given the assistance of environmental regulation. Very good. We'll set up a lab there, after determining how best to contend with the gas. So on an island in here, there's a cave with an area filled with gas and a lab. Line of discoveries of the others, I have begun construction of a road to lead to both locations. It should help with navigating the hazardous terrain. Good idea, Sinetti. We don't want anyone to become lost with the constant heat of this planet. This does look like a road of sorts. I have to report our relations with our new friends seem to be going well. In fact, Amalak saw fit to deliver a gift to me. And it's good to hear, however I have to wonder. Cullis, may I ask what the nature of this gift is? It's a lovely necklace, woven from several small vines which seem to have been made to grow around one another. Honestly unsure how he must have made it. Perhaps he used the druidic influences people seem to have? Whatever the case, it must have taken some time to create. Oh, Amalax is male. Okay. Yes, I suspected that might be the case. Cullis, I feel I should inform you that, based on my studies of these aliens' culture, a necklace such as that is a key component of the traditional courting ritual. Usually, the intended recipient will either refuse the necklace, indicating a lack of interest, or accept it and gift the initiator with a similar necklace. That is quite a situation. Cullis, may I ask how you responded to the gift? How I responded? Oh no. I stated I took it as a surefire token of the continued friendship between ourselves and our species. He extended an offer of partnership, and I, for all intents and purposes, called him a very good friend. This is disastrous. No, you friend-zoned him. How could you, Cullis? Are you certain? A courting ritual? That would imply... Amalak's asking me to be his partner? How do I properly respond to that? Well, I would guess by either refusing or accepting the offer. Which one you choose is up to you, though I would strongly suggest you make a decision soon. I suspect that you have left Amalax quite confused. Refuse or accept. If that is the case, then Sinetti, would you be willing to help me gain a better understanding of his language? I believe I have a message important enough that it must be written by hand. And choosing the middle of the deadly heat planet to talk about courting rituals. Very cool. Very Nomai. Relatable. What do you mean they were flirting? Yeah, basically. Why do you suppose this area remains so hot? Certainly should have cooled to some degree after such a long time. Fair question, one that has occurred to me as well. Currently, my standing hypothesis is that the seeds surrounding the planet lead recursively into this area, based on how they seem to have the same glow. An astute observation, but I fail to see how this explains the heat. The planet is surrounded by recursive seeds. It is possible for heat that should leave the area to instead be redirected back inside, maintaining a very high temperature. Yeah, that tracks. You got a heat system that keeps feeding into itself. Alright, starting to burn again. Go, 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 go. Not that fast. Don't go that fast. Ah! Shoot. I can't tell how fast I'm dying. Certainly seems to be doing something. There's a cave. It's a campfire. Oh, great. Am I gonna have to wait for something? Is this, here's how you wait for the end of loop campfire? When the chamber below is flooded with a very flammable gas. It's important that no open flames are brought into the cave, especially those that are particularly intense. So if I use my jetpack, everything explodes? Is that what I'm hearing? Can I use the flashlight? Oh, gas detected, excessive heat detected, ship log updated. I believe this cave should prove to be an adequate location for any equipment we might use to study the surface signal of the eye. Particularly the upper chamber across the ceiling looks well insulated. Some environmental regulation, the overheating of our equipment should be a non-issue. Upper chamber across the ceiling. Good find, Nessia, but how do you propose we get up there? The gas in this cave prohibits the use of our thrusters. I believe gravity crystals constructed from the material of Graviton's folly should be useful. We can make specialized mounts to place the crystals in, amplifying their effect to the level we would need. In my experience, the collection and application of that material would be time-consuming. There may be other portions of the ceiling that are worth exploring. I suppose these mounts should allow for the removal and replacement of these crystals. Then we may explore more while additional crystals are fabricated. Good idea, both of you. A series of removable gravity crystals will allow us to explore the full area while resources are relatively low. Begin construction of the system immediately. Alright, so this is where we need to replace that crystal. There's going to be a gap in the ceiling here. Oh. And we're just continually burning. Alright, I can pick up these and remove them, I see. That's not trippy at all. Okay, I just leapfrog my way across here, maybe? Ah, not quite. Good excuse for why I can't, can't jetpack in here, at least. Flammable, environment. Oh. Is there a way to pick them up without falling off? I can't tell. What is the absolute range I can do on this? Not quite, okay. So I'm gonna need enough crystals to get through here. I guess. Oh. Accidentally used my jetpack. Immediate explosion. Good to know. Okay, so we're definitely gonna need an extra crystal there. Ugh. Bagoom. Exactly. Ow. 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 My back. I stretched weird and hurt my back. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. Okay, we definitely learned some things. More things going to the translation lab. Yep. The Distant Node project. Yeah. Know nothing about it. But it's apparently related to the eye signal stuff. Cave at the bottom of a long tunnel. My suit warns me the gas inside is extremely flammable. So safety, then I might use portable gravity crystals to navigate up to the lab. Unfortunately, many of the crystals are broken, detached from their sockets. I think enough are intact to let me cross. I just explicitly say that. I discovered a strange wandering rock in a cave on Magma's recursion. There is a quantum cave, okay. Alright, where was that broken crystal? Found that very early on. It was on, near the campsite. We'll head there. Oh yeah, and I can read the text while I'm there. Duplicate signal. Well, this one has a distance on it. Let's go there. Where was it? I don't know my structure. No, again, I guess I can check the treehouse too. it was one of the last ones. There we go. I understand your strange language, but I hope that you may know mine. Follow where I lead and find us. Maybe only feeling, but I think that our species are fated to meet. Nice. First exchange of words was out of friendship. Excellent. As expected, honestly. I don't think they opened up with, oh, yep, time to murder them all. Thanks to the hydrate. Okay. We have a broken gravity crystal. Can we go repair it? That's the question. So I'm pretty sure these are just their names, but I wanna read anyway, just in case. Yep. Come on. Yeah, Akalis. Nice. Throw their names in each other's languages. Amalax and Okalis. Truly one of the greatest love stories of all time. Certainly in Outer Wilds. Okay, we went to track the park. That's what I used last time. Actually, no, we don't want to go there. We want to go to, where's the gravity thing? Graviton's Folly. That's the one. I want to see if I can charge this crystal. They mentioned the Opera House or whatever, I think was where they mentioned they might have a clue as to how to fix it. But I wonder if it's as simple as just you take it inside and it charges it. To make it mutually exclusive with reading with the broken gravity, which is kind of funny. I should do more stuff like that in Outer Wilds. Have things that you could not ever possibly do in the same loop because they require breaking something that you need for the other path. Stuff like that. It just seems like a fun idea. Lean into the time loop more. I've often thought that there should be a... should do puzzles where, what am I thinking? Where you have to die to get information. Like you take a one-way trip into a box there's no escaping from. With the idea that whoever hid the information was like, oh yeah, there's no way we could ever... no one would ever be dumb enough to do that. And then you do it. Okay, crystal's not changing. It's not that simple. Even if I break it? No. Understandably, that was, did not improve anything. Okay, well, theory doesn't check out. Cool. Can't believe violence wasn't the solution. Yeah, I know. Never know. It's usually not. You never know. I'm gonna, like, insert this on top of this thing. Maybe if the crystal's not broken. That would be the next thing to try. In the meantime, I think there were other things we can see in the magma caves. So yeah, what can we see on the map here now? Oh, we got multiple connected nodes. We got Titan's Tears, Graviton's Folly, Briar's Hollow, Lover's Rock, Shattered Hearth, Parents' Rest. That's the mother anglerfish. Magma's Recursion. That's the one. Take me there. Back to the gas cave. Let's go find that quantum cave. I hope the mod author never watches this VOD and is like constantly upset because I'm not doing things the intended way. I just realized I didn't post about it in the modding Discord. Oops. Post a link later. I haven't gotten stuck on anything yet, to the point where I would want someone who has played through it to ask questions to. So that's probably fine. Oh. That didn't work. Why am I going so fast? I didn't think I was accelerating that long. Gravity's weird, man. Okay, I think that's it. Come on. I'm so sluggish. There we go. Alright. Through the seed. That. Dang it. I feel like the ship is accelerating slower than normal. Maybe I'm just impatient. Alright, back to Magma's Recursion. And wedging the ship down there would be really convenient. That's why they don't let you do it. Okay, I didn't die. I really thought I might die there. Whoa! Okay, it's lagging out a little bit from having this ship log location tracked. I don't think there's anything I can do to fix that. I guess we can see all the recursive nodes now. Now we can grab the jetpack fuel. We haven't spent that much, but as well. Geothermal activity. Bum, 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 bum. Ah, shoot. Too far. We're getting roasted. Roast Hearthian. Alright, so there's the entrance to the gas cave. If we go past that... Oh, the lava geysers. This goes way past that. Broken road! Ah! Magma geysers. Ouch. Okay, that was not ideal. Alright, Quantum Rock. I know how these work. Any supposes rock achieves its behavior. It appears to move exclusively when it is unobserved. Perhaps it is some form of macroscopic quantum behavior? It may exist in all locations at the same time. It collapses to a single possibility once observed by a conscious being. If this is the case, it may hint at the nature of the eye as well. This rock seems to emanate a signal similar to the one reverberating through this area. Interesting idea. This may indeed be the case. I can think of no other explanation for how it may relocate itself so dramatically. Well, this is an interesting find. It is our shame that it does not seem to be useful to our current goals. I hope that this would help us locate the eye of the universe. Actually, I believe that I may have accidentally found an additional behavior of this rock. When text obscured by object, it seems that text obscured by object. To tell you, oh yeah, by the way, there's gaps because there's physically a rock covering the text. Even more interesting, but I still fail to understand how this would aid us in reaching the eye. I'm still putting together the details. In particular, I want to bring Karenia to observe this phenomenon. I believe that this may be useful to a project of mine that I'm calling the Distant Node Project. I encourage you all to join me here sometime when I have more of the details worked out. I'll be able to explain the idea in full then. Okay. Well, we know how this works. Hot shard. Hot shard, hot damn. Does this ever take us outside of this room? Damn, it's to the lava place. That's true. Okay, it doesn't seem like it unless I've gotten exceedingly unlucky with my rolls. But I'm impressed that they got quantum entanglement working. It's a surprisingly difficult thing to set up in the Outer Wilds engine. Okay, so there's that. But there are other things on the quantum fluctuations. Hot shard, hot shard, hot shard. Is there anything here that is not a hot shard? All of the bouncing signals. Unclear. Certainly a lot of hot shards going on here. What's so hot about that shard anyway? Good question. Well, I'm a little bit disappointed. There's no reward for quantum entangling on it. This is the hot that got broken. Yeah, it's a shard of hotness, obviously. We're about to die. Too hot? Hot damn. And we're dead. Okay. So, not breaking the crystal. That's not the right play. We might call it there today. I haven't eaten today yet, and the dogs are going to be barking here in a minute to be let out. 3 hours is not bad for having to narrate a lot of dialogue. This is probably one of the most dialogue-heavy Outer Wilds mods I've ever played, that's for sure. But I do like the lore, I like the characters. They've got clearly defined personalities and character traits and everything. It's fun. Quantum Cave, there is more to explore here, okay. Ow. I didn't catch that. Apparently a behavior of the rock is useful, something called the Distant Node Project. More details on a scroll in the cave, but a cooled lava flow is making it impossible to read fully. By the condition of the wall, the scroll itself appears undamaged. Oh yeah, is that the... That's the one that I was reading. Yeah. Do I have to take the scroll out and take it to a different text wall to learn the 2 words that I've assume would be about quantum entanglement. Maybe they're not, though. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they're not about quantum entanglement. And that was just my assumption. Still don't know where the concert hall is. I'm guessing a lot of these locations are just going to be in those seeds suspended above their planet. I just haven't explored them yet. Hearth's core. Yeah. Alrighty. I feel like we're got some good leads to follow up on next time. And I feel like we pretty thoroughly explored the areas that we have had access to so far. So that's seems like a good stopping point to me. Yeah. So I think we'll call it there for today. And we'll pick up probably this weekend. I don't want to forget everything. So I'll probably make my first stream of the weekend more of this. And then the second stream we'll do what we did last time and we'll divide between Ruina and Luigi's Mansion. And both of those games are games that I don't enjoy playing for like long stretches of time, so I think dividing it up like that worked pretty well. So probably continue doing that unless I've got time to do both. Separate streams. So yeah. Sounds like a plan then. Thanks for being here, Yazoo and Carrick. Anyone else is lurking, appreciate you all. Thanks for stopping by. We find a raid target. Not often streaming on a Monday. There's my alarm to take the dogs out. Oh, someone's playing Jump Space. Nice. That's a fun game. Now just a bunch of large streamers. Anyone playing Outer Wilds? Someone's doing a blind VR playthrough. That's crazy. That's me. I see myself on the list of Twitch streamers on the category. No, I don't feel like making new friends today. I never feel like making new friends, but you know, such is life. We'll just do an offline raid to Nono maybe. Alright, thanks y'all for being here. See you next time. We'll pick up more of this next stream whenever that happens, probably at our normal weekend scheduled times. And I'll see y'all next time.